Hey friends, Doug here. I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update on the trailer project because it's been, nearly a month since I last updated you. I would have done this sooner, and I was hoping to be farther along, but I've had quite a few things come up. Some of it, some work opportunities. Shot two events in the last week, and the preparations and editing and everything for those kind of eats up a lot of my time. But I am slowly but surely moving forward on the trailer. I would love to be further along, but realistically, I'm only getting maybe 3 to 4 hours a week tops to work on this thing, so it's moving much more slowly than I had anticipated. So, to give you guys a little bit of a quick tour of some of the stuff that's actually been accomplished. Start with the power systems in the front, because that's kind of where we left off before. Um, since the last time we chatted, since I added a small inverter, and that's going to be used to power some of the most critical systems full time, like the networking that need to, like the network switch that I'm using. It's actually in this box over here. It takes about 5 minutes to boot, and so I elected to just run that full time. And then the solar panels on the roof are enough to keep that going, so that won't be eating up any energy. I've also added the 12 volt systems, so you can see additional fuse blocks here, power distribution. There's another fuse block over here, and these are actually operational, so you can see there like a radio hooked up and a fan, some lights and some other stuff. I did add some lights on the outside of the trailer, make it easier to see when unloading and unloading. Since I'm also going to be running on generator from time to time, I also picked up a carbon monoxide sensor, a CO sensor. So it's sitting in there until I actually get some more of the walls up, so I can install that a little more permanently. I've added the two-way radio in here for communicating with the crew during setup and takedown. That also came in handy on a shoot that I did the other day, where we couldn't easily get intercoms to the director, so we used two-way radio with him. Also neatened up some of the AC power systems, so the two main AC power inlets now come through the front of the trailer, through the floor, so it's easy to plug in, disconnect, and go. I don't have to snake a cord through the floor anymore like it was previously. On this side, I actually have the walls up, including the audio booth. It'll come into focus here. So, yeah, these walls are actually up. The AC and 12 volt power lines for that wall, that side, are actually run. I do need to run some HDMI and SDI and audio and some other ones, but that's going to be easy enough to do because the way this is set up, there's an inch and a half of space between the inner wall and the outer wall, so it's going to be easy to fish things. So you'll have to pardon the amount of stuff that's in here. I have just done 2 gigs in the last week, and some of the gear is still in the trailer. I haven't taken it and put it into storage yet. But this is going to be the audio booth for the trailer. It turned out to be quite a bit larger than I had envisioned. It's quite deep, nearly 3 feet deep on the inside, and just shy of 3 feet wide. So plenty of room for someone to work. And then you can see back there where that board is. That's going to be the back wall of the trailer. So fair amount of room for the audio guy to work in. On the back side, I've done some power and both 110 and 12 volt. There's 4 AC circuits that come back here. So we have one for shore power only. We currently got a power line networking system set up there just to get internet into the trailer over the power connection. And then there's one for a small inverter, which I already showed. And then switched power, so that's always active. Switches between inverter and shore power. And then one that's for inverter only. So the switcher and routing switchers that I use have dual power supplies. So what I'm going to do is have one run to inverter only and then one run to switched. So in the event that shore power does get disconnected, it will already have power from the inverter and can just continue to run. The other interesting thing got back here There's a cellular radio. So this is a pretty nifty device. It's LTE. It's actually XLTE, so the latest and greatest. It works with any of the 4 major carriers here in the US. You just pop the appropriate SIM card in. I've got 2 antennas run to the roof for the cellular. That's what these black cables are. There's 2 cellular, Wi-Fi, and a couple other antenna lines there. But I'm able to get reliable enough internet off cellular to be able to do internet streaming by using that device. Pretty nifty. Like I say, I can use external antennas, and so I can get a real strong signal. And even if I'm in an area that has a kind of a weak signal, I can always pop a directional antenna on there and cut through interference from other cell phone users if need be. You can also see here that I've started running some of the other lines. So here we have the SDI and Ethernet that go all the way up to the front wall. I still need to run audio and some other miscellaneous signals on that path, but you know, most of the lines are run there. So the way that the trailer is set up, I don't have to run too many lines up to the front, but having the equipment at the back does mean that I am running lines everywhere. I don't think I've ever actually shown you guys the layout of the trailer, so just kind of go over that real quick. So here it is. Front is where we have technical director and director, and then there's a third seating position for an assistant or a producer or anybody else who wants to sit there. So there are 3 laptops, actually Microsoft Surface Pros, and then as far as monitors, 2 43s, 243 inches, and then 3 27-inch monitors on the front. And then off to the one side here, on site next to where the technical director is, there's going to be another 24-inch touchscreen monitor there. Just behind there is the playback replay. He's has a 28-inch monitor to use. And that one's actually going to be on a multi-view. It's a Blackmagic multi-view 16, but I'm going to run it in a 3x3, so 9 video sources on that. And then on the opposite wall, CG and titles, PTZ camera control, and then there will be a 55-inch monitor. And it also runs through a multi-view, and then below that there will be 2 23s used primarily as computer monitors. And then behind there is an engineer position. That's actually where I'm going to be sitting most of the time. And I will have access to all the equipment, and then I'll have a 22-inch touchscreen on one side, and then a 24-inch monitor in front of me, and be able to rotate the chair and work in any of those positions. Then across the way from there, of course, is the audio booth with a 24-inch monitor there, and then a 22-inch monitor on the side, touchscreen monitor for using any software to control any devices. What you can't see in here is there's going to be an angled vertical equipment rack above that position for like patch bays and things like that. I'm also thinking of putting some sort of storage here high on the wall. I haven't necessarily nailed that one down yet, but that's kind of where we're going. So, and then in back next to the equipment rack, that's all going to be storage. So I'll be able to store things like cameras and cables and whatnot. And also during transport, the area underneath the audio booth and the area underneath the front desk will have plenty of room for additional storage. And if we push the chairs forward, you can use any of the floor area there for transporting equipment as well. So quite a bit of room, but there's also quite a bit of work to do. So in total, I think there's 14 or 15 monitors, all of which are 4K. So quite a large undertaking, getting everything wired and working. Still have a long way to go. But let's see. So I've got the plywood for the shelves in the back and for this wall. I just haven't been able to build that yet. Speaking of which, the equipment rack in the back, which is going to go back here. This will be the front edge here. That's going to be my next priority, is getting that built. That will actually allow me to use the trailer and have things pre-wired. I have done several events with the trailer at this point, but it's more of a mobile office than a production vehicle Works out well, but I mean, it means I'm waiting until I get to the venue to set up and then having to tear it all down afterwards, so a lot more time consuming than I would have hoped. But it does work well. The air conditioner keeps it plenty cool even with equipment running while it's hot outside. It's nice to be in a facility away from distractions as well. So, but yeah, I need to get that rear wall with the equipment rack built here before too long. And the other priority is going to be building the front wall with the monitors. I started working on it yesterday, but it got kind of late and I was disturbing some of the neighbors, and so I had to quit. Only got 3 boards up, so I've still got quite a bit more to go. I've had a number of people ask me about ventilation, so what I'm doing is I'm going to have a number of these fans. So on this side they will be bringing air in, and then on the opposite side they will be exhausting air, so it'll be a cross breeze from one side to the other, and I'll be able to turn those on and off. They're actually very quiet, so it's running. It's hard to hear much of anything, but I'll be using a number of those, and that'll help to keep the air fresh inside the trailer, which is kind of a concern when you have 8 people working in such a small space, even with the air conditioner running, because the air conditioner doesn't exchange any of the outside air. So do some ventilation there. I've had a number of people suggest vibration isolation for the rear equipment rack, so I will be doing that. I got the stuff for that. That's part of the plan at this point. So yeah, the back wall is going to be fully isolated, or the entire equipment rack and shelving is going to be physically isolated from the rest of the trailer. Make sure to protect the equipment a little bit more. So anyway, that's kind of where we're at. Turn around so you can see me. I still have quite a bit of electrical lines to run. I've only done 2 of the mini lights on the ceiling. Those are general lighting. I'm also going to be doing strip lighting, and then spotlights for task lighting for each of the individual workstations, and then each person will be able to turn that light on or off as needed. So I've still got those 8 lights to run, as well as LED strips all along the outside. And I do plan on doing LED strips underneath the desks too, just kind of give it a nifty appearance, though that will probably come a little bit later. So yeah, so I'm making progress. Most of the electrical is done. I've got outlets installed for all of the monitors, and that's all ready to go. I'll probably be able to put this right wall up as soon as I get some more of the lighting stuff run, and I still have audio to run up there, a couple other signals, and then all the lines for the 3 desks over here. I haven't done any of that yet, but anyway, so things are moving along just kind of slowly. I am shooting time lapse of this whole process. I haven't posted any of it because it is really, really boring to watch. No one wants to sit and watch 3 hours of footage of me terminating wires, even if it is condensed into 30 seconds or whatever. It's just not very exciting. So I will be doing some sort of final time lapse at some point, but I'm not sure that I'm going to be posting those along the way, just because they aren't very exciting. They're not very interesting. So anyway, if you have questions or comments though, sure and write down in the comment section down below. Also be sure and like and subscribe. And I do consider this kind of a little bit of a community project, so if you guys have suggestions or whatever, feel free to share in the comments. This is my first production vehicle, so I'm very much learning as I go, and if you have any insight into how to do this effectively, I do appreciate that help. So anyway, I do thank you for watching, and have a great day.